I first started playing when I was about halfway through my senior year of high school. So I was 17 and a half and started playing online on Paradise Poker. Put on $50 and play the lowest stakes games I could find, which were $6 sit and goes. So I had to hope to run good, but luckily I didn't run too bad, and everyone was really, really, really bad back then. So I was able to win a decent amount of money, and I just never looked back. I kept moving up the limits, trying to win more money, and now I'm here. There weren't any really big moments or anything. There were a few slight setbacks that sometimes I'd move to a new level and it'd be slightly harder than I thought, but I just kept moving up, and occasionally it would be a little bit of a hassle to learn, that people played a little better at some new level. Like I remember at when I started playing the $2, $5 game on Paradise, which was $500 buy-in. Back then, those people had the toughness. Mm-hmm. And then at 10-20 on Poker Stars, those people had the toughness too. So both of those took me, maybe a month before I was regularly playing them. And then once I started playing the 50, 100 games and higher on UB and on Prima and stuff, that was also another big step. But there was no one moment really. It was all just progression upwards, which worked out so far. Play poker, once or twice a year with my family, and it was never no limit hold'em or anything like that. It was always just random, completely random games that aren't played anywhere. And I'd play pinochle or spades or hearts maybe 2 or 3 times a month for an hour or two. So I had some slight card background, but not much. I think that background didn't hurt, definitely, and probably helped a little bit, but I don't think it's a requisite at all, and I don't think maybe it gave me a 1 month head start or something like that. Probably not even. It was open to anyone except Phil Galfond.
Yeah.
Because he's a very good friend of mine, and there's the chance that he would have accepted that kind of bet, but he would never accept it since we're friends, and I didn't want to exploit our friendship into him not accepting it. So I just thought it was easier to make him not feel bad about not accepting it because we were friends, because he'd never want to do that and play me that much. So I thought it was better to just rule out playing him. But yeah, it's open to anyone else, and I don't know. Hopefully I'll beat everyone that plays. So far I'm up a little bit with Patrick, so hopefully that works out. Well, I always play poker to win money, so it might be slightly more enjoyable at the time to play with Phil Ivey and Patrick Antonius and have a lot of thinking going on, but I would always take the free money. It might be a little less fun for the 2 hours I'm playing, but I'm much more likely to end up big winner, and that's the reason I play poker. If I wanted to do something strictly for enjoyment, I'd go play some basketball or watch a movie, and I do enjoy playing poker. But that said, I'd rather enjoy it very slightly less and have some people at the table who don't have much clue and win some free money. It's been an interesting match so far, and he's pretty aggressive and he's done pretty well. I'm not going to go into too much detail on his play, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But you could expect that we'll be playing more in the coming weeks and months. I wouldn't say that I ever have a normal game. I look at every hand and play it the way that I think will make the most money. I do that whether I'm playing online versus random people, or online versus people who are professionals and play online all day, or live versus people who've played poker for 30 years. I just try to analyze the way they think and play every hand the way I think will make the most money. You can watch this season of High Stakes and see if that worked out for me. Obviously, it's ideal to never be affected by the wins and losses in a poker game. It's not going to help your game if you are affected by that. Because of that, I try to be as detached emotionally as I can from the wins and losses that I have. I'd like to think I do a pretty good job, but I obviously still get affected if I lose a big pot, and I still get happy if I win a big pot. But I think I'm better than most people at not letting that affect me or affect the way I play afterwards. It still does sometimes, but I think it's pretty rare and I do a pretty good job of it. But I'm probably not the most biased judge of myself, so who knows? Well, I played Marcello, who's Lucky Express online. Then I played Isilduri, who's Zygmunt online. And then I played Sammy George, who plays a bunch of live poker in London. All three matches were pretty interesting. The match versus Zygmunt was actually a little bit less action-packed than I expected. And the other two were definitely more action-packed than I expected. The match versus Zygmunt was still very action-filled and likely the most action-filled of the three, or at least close. But that's usually to be expected with the way me and Isilduri play. But overall, I thought it was an interesting few days, and I look forward to playing, the next season, which we're probably going to do in the U.S. And we have a few ideas up our sleeves that could likely work out well and make it an interesting next season of the show. But this season was fun and enjoyable, and I don't know if the results are out there yet, but I won a little bit of money, so that was good. And hopefully the next season I'll win a little bit more money, and it'll be enjoyable and fun again. That's a tough question. I don't know. I've thought about that a bit, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I think 100 big blind and less no limit hold'em cash games without antes are just not an ideal form of poker. They're not that interesting. They reward tight and slightly more robotic play, and anything but heads up or maybe three-handed, it's not an ideal form of poker. I think Full Tilt's done a great job coming out with the ante tables, and I think the future of no limit hold'em, which also happens to be the easiest game to show on TV and the game most likely to draw in people who are just learning poker. I think the future of that game, no limit hold'em, is most likely to be including antes like what people generally do see on TV. And I think online cash games should be 100 big blind minimum, and with an ante that's, a fifth the size of the small blind at least, or bigger. And it just makes for a much more interesting game, and you're supposed to play more hands, and the game's more complicated and much further from being solved. As far as amusing me, I would say Isilduri is definitely up there. He's got some amazing one-liners, and he's just a pretty funny guy overall. I do not. But
if you could.
I'm sure I could work it out if I wanted, but I do not.